I need to tell you something that is going to be really hard to hear, especially if you just signed a 72-month loan for a brand new Honda Civic or Accord. There are 4 sedans collecting dust on used car lots right now. You just threw your money at. That will mechanically outlast the hunk of metal. They cost half as much, some of them even a third. Let me be clear, I am not talking about junkers waiting for the scrapyard, or project cars that sound good on paper, but nickel and dime you in the shop. I am talking about family sedans with near-perfect reliability scores. Maintenance costs so low, they make owning a modern Japanese car look like you are paying a penalty. The only reason they are dirt cheap is because 90% of buyers today never bothered to look past the badge on the grille. I have been turning wrenches and crawling under cars for over 20 years. I have watched the exact same scenario play out thousands of times. A guy walks into my shop asking me to inspect a brand new Honda he is about to buy at some crazy inflated price. I always ask him one question: have you considered anything else? The answer is almost always no. Honda is reliable, everyone knows that. End of story. But here is the industry secret: those guys in suits at the dealership never want you to know. These newer cars are getting stuffed with tiny displacement engines pushed to the limit with turbochargers, paired up with weak CVT transmissions. They just aren't built to survive 20 years like they used to be. Today, I am going to walk you through all 4 of these sedans and the actual used market prices so you can see for yourself exactly how much money you are throwing out the window. I am going deepest on the last one, because that is the true eternal machine. That genuinely shocked me. Let's get into it. The perfect replacement nobody looks at. About 3 years ago, a guy named Javier walked into my shop. He had a glossy brochure for a brand new Honda Civic in his hand, ready to march down to the local dealership and sign away $26,000 of his hard-earned money. He needed a reliable daily commuter for his new job. I told him to put the brochure down, save his ink, and go look at a 2016 Mazda 6 instead. He looked at me like I had completely lost my mind. People sleep on the Mazda 6 simply because it does not have that famous Honda or Toyota badge glued to the trunk. But that lack of brand tax is exactly why you can buy an absolutely pristine used one for roughly $11,000. The secret sauce here is the 2.5-liter Skyactiv G naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. Unlike the modern Honda engines, this Mazda power plant does not use a fragile turbocharger that cooks its own oil. It uses a brilliant high-compression design that gives you fantastic fuel economy without the catastrophic direct injection carbon buildup issues that plague other modern engines at the 50,000-mile mark. Furthermore, it is a traditional, deep-breathing engine, mated to a proven 6-speed automatic transmission with a physical torque converter. There is absolutely no continuously variable transmission nonsense in this car that will slip, shudder, and fail on the highway. When you look at the real-world repair data, across the entire automotive industry, this specific Mazda powertrain ranks near the absolute top for long-term durability. The average annual repair cost for this generation of the Mazda 6 is under $400. Javier ended up buying that exact 2016 Mazda 6 with 60,000 miles on it for $11,500. He has put another 50,000 miles on the odometer since that day, and his total repair bill has been $0. Outside of basic synthetic oil changes and one set of ceramic brake pads, the interior materials feel like they belong in a luxury German car. The handling and steering response are razor sharp, and you get to keep $15,000 sitting safely in your bank account. When you go out to inspect one of these vehicles on a used lot, you want to pop the hood and look closely at the valve cover gasket. For any minor oil seepage, it is a very cheap $50 fix, but it serves as a fantastic negotiating tool to lower the price even further. Make sure the previous owner changed the transmission fluid at least once, and test the infotainment screen with your finger to ensure there are no ghost touches, which is a known but easily replaceable quirk on the early models. Do not buy the newer turbocharged versions if your only goal is maximum lifespan. Stick strictly to the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter engine, and you will have a stunning sedan that will easily sail past 200,000 miles. While that brand new Civic is waiting in the service lane for back-ordered turbocharger, the midsize tank, now the second sedan I want to talk about, is a midsize tank that depreciation hit like a runaway freight train, and it is entirely because of the badge on the hood. A longtime customer of mine named Carlos came in a few years back, desperately needing a bigger family car because he had another kid on the way. He was agonizing over taking out a $30,000 loan for a new Honda Accord. I pointed him toward a 2017 Ford Fusion. I know exactly what is happening in your head right now. A domestic Ford over a legendary Honda? Yes, but only one very specific, highly guarded version of the Ford Fusion. You see, the vast majority of buyers grabbed the 1.5-liter or 2.0-liter EcoBoost engines. Those are highly stressed, turbocharged nightmares with coolant intrusion issues that keep my shop bays full and mechanics employed. But Ford also sold the Fusion with a base 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. This is essentially an older, bulletproof Mazda-derived engine block that Ford kept producing year after year because it simply refuses to die under any circumstances, because the problematic EcoBoost models completely dragged down the overall reliability reputation of the car in the public eye. The entire used market punished every single Ford Fusion indiscriminately. That massive market blind spot means you can find a clean 2.5-liter Fusion with 70,000 miles for about $9,000. You are getting a massive, incredibly comfortable, highly safe family sedan for less than a third of the price of a new Accord. The suspension components are incredibly robust. The replacement parts are unbelievably cheap because Ford manufactured millions of them for rental and corporate fleet vehicles, and literally any mechanic in the country can work on it blindfolded. Carlos ended up buying a 2018 model for $9,500. 4 years later, it still runs perfectly like a Swiss watch. The average annual maintenance cost on this specific non-turbo engine configuration is barely over $350. When you go shopping for one, you must pop the hood and verify the emission sticker says 2.5-liter. It will not win any drag races off the stoplight, but we are not buying race cars here. We are buying financial freedom. Pull the transmission dipstick and check the fluid to ensure it is bright red and does not smell burned. Look underneath at the lower control arm bushings for any tearing or cracking, which naturally happens around the 100,000 mile mark. Swap those rubber bushings out, keep fresh conventional or synthetic oil in the crankcase, and this American-badged, Mazda-powered steel tank will easily outlive the 72-month payment plan on any new Japanese sedan you can find on a showroom floor today. The highway cruiser for the golden years. Moving on to the third car. This one is specifically tailored for the golden years. About a year ago, an older gentleman named Mateo asked me what he should buy for comfortable or long-distance weekend highway cruising. He wanted the exceptionally smooth, whisper-quiet ride of an old-school traditional luxury car, but he absolutely refused to pay the astronomical luxury car repair bills that come with a Mercedes or Lexus. He was actively looking at a top trim, touring Honda Accord, which was pushing nearly $40,000 out the door after taxes and dealer fees. I told him to put his wallet away and go find a 2016 Buick Lacrosse. The new modern Japanese sedans feel like hollow tin cans on the highway compared to the sheer mass of this thing. The Buick Lacrosse from 2014 to 2019 is basically an isolation vault on wheels. It is heavily insulated with acoustic glass, triple door seals, incredibly comfortable wide seating, and it runs General Motors proven 3.6-liter V6 engine. This is a massive, naturally aspirated power plant that effortlessly delivers around 300 horsepower through a heavy-duty 6-speed automatic transmission. There are no tiny, overstressed turbochargers working overtime to push a heavy car up a hill. Because younger buyers universally consider Buick to be an old-person brand, the market depreciation is absolutely staggering. A car that cost over $40,000 brand new can be bought right now in pristine, garage-kept condition, with 50,000 miles for roughly $14,000. Mateo bought one immediately, and he constantly tells me it is the absolute best highway cruiser he has ever owned in his entire life. Real-world repair data shows the Lacrosse has one of the lowest frequencies of unscheduled shop visits in the entire large car segment. You are paying $14,000 for a premium vehicle that will literally glide over massive potholes and eat up endless highway miles with a powertrain explicitly designed to go the distance. When you test drive a Lacrosse, take it deliberately over some rough pavement and listen closely for any clunking noises in the front suspension struts, which is standard wear and tear. Check the front timing chain cover area with a flashlight for any minor oil weeping. The absolute key to making the 3.6-liter V6 last forever is religious, strict oil changes every 5,000 miles. Do not ever wait for the dashboard, digital oil life monitor to tell you it is time. Keep the engine oil fresh, and the complex timing chains inside that motor will never stretch or rattle. You get top-tier premium luxury, a whisper-quiet cabin, and legendary V6 reliability for less than the required down payment on a brand new Honda, the Immortal Outcast. Finally, we arrive at the Immortal Outcast. This is the true eternal machine, the sedan that genuinely shocked me to my core when I first started tracking its mechanical lifespan, and it remains the single best kept secret in the automotive world. A young woman named Sophia inherited one of these vehicles from her grandfather recently. She desperately wanted to sell it to a junkyard and use the meager cash as a down payment on a brand new Civic. because she felt the old car looked entirely too outdated for her taste. I told her to cancel her dealership appointment immediately and keep the keys. The car in question was a 2010 Mercury Grand Marquis. This car, along with its identical corporate twin, the Ford Crown Victoria, is unequivocally the most robust, wildly over-engineered passenger car village ever produced in North America. They do not have a unibody construction village. Like modern cars, they sit on a massive, solid steel ladder frame village, exactly like a heavy-duty pickup truck. Under the hood village is Ford's legendary 4.6-liter modular 2-valve V8 engine village. This specific iron block engine was explicitly designed by Engineers Village to idle for 24 hours a day in the blazing heat village, as a police cruiser or a New York City taxicab village, and then drive 500,000 miles without ever needing an internal engine rebuild village. You can go online right now and buy a pristine, garage-kept Grand Marquis village that was only driven to church by a retiree for maybe $5,000 village. Let me repeat that number so it sinks in. $5,000 village for a massive luxury vehicle that statistically has an exponentially higher probability village of reaching 300,000 miles than any brand new complex Honda village. Rolling off the pristine assembly line today, the new Honda might easily blow a delicate turbocharger or burn out a complicated, continuously variable transmission at 100,000 miles, instantly costing you thousands of dollars in shop labor. The Grand Marquis will just keep effortlessly floating down the road, oblivious to the mileage. The replacement parts are literally dirt cheap. A brand new alternator costs under $100. The starter motor is incredibly easy to access from under the vehicle. The average annual repair cost is practically a rounding error compared to maintaining modern, computer-heavy cars. Yes, the fuel economy is admittedly not great, giving you maybe 20 miles per gallon on a good day. But you can buy a massive amount of gasoline with the $25,000 you instantly save by not buying a new car. When you go to inspect one of these tanks, look closely at the plastic intake manifold right behind the alternator. The early models could occasionally crack and leak a little green coolant, but an upgraded aftermarket replacement part is only a couple of $100s and fixes the problem permanently. If the vehicle has the rear air suspension option, ensure the rear airbags are not sagging when the car is parked. If they are, you can easily convert the entire rear suspension to traditional steel coil springs for $300 and literally never worry about it again for the rest of your natural life. If you can swallow your pride and drive a car that looks like it belongs, in the year 2000, you will never have a car payment again. The true value of an automobile is not measured by the diagonal size of its dashboard touchscreen or the shiny brand name stamped onto the steering wheel. It is measured entirely by the absolute peace of mind it gives you when you turn the ignition key every single morning, knowing confidently that it is not going to drain your bank account or leave you stranded on the side of the highway. Do not let the slick guys at the dealership manipulate you with shiny brochures, new car smells, and overly complicated financing terms. They want you trapped securely in an endless cycle of debt, happily paying a massive premium for a historical reputation that those famous brands are simply no longer building their modern cars to uphold. You now have the exact blueprint to beat the system. You have 4 incredibly reliable, remarkably dirt cheap sedans that the modern automotive market has completely forgotten about. Go out there, take your time, find a clean example, confidently negotiate a great price, and keep your hard-earned money exactly where it belongs, inside your own pocket. If this real-world, completely honest mechanic advice helped you finally see through the dealership marketing smoke and mirrors, hit that subscribe button right now. I have plenty more guarded industry secrets to share with you, and they are guaranteed to save you thousands of dollars down the road. Take care of your vehicle, do your maintenance, and it will absolutely take care of you. I will catch you in the next one.